So, let me see, I have this fabric. Yeah. Alright. So that's how low I want it. I'll tell you what, that's not... If you have some chalk, I don't have any handy. Colored chalk works really well, but I'm not going to stop and go dig for it. I'm just going to leave this here, and we are going to start with our tool. And we want to make it nice and thick, so I'm going to get a pretty good size roll. And then I'm going to fold that in half. And what you want to do is pleat it. And I'm probably not going to be able to, let me see. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to get I know a lot of people know how to pleat something, but where's my extra fabric? So what I'm going to do is, since that tool is too hard to see, I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to take it and pleat it like this. It does not have to be perfect, and just keep going through. Now I'm going to leave this up to you. You can try to glue this down. If you use a hot glue, it's a tool. Please be very careful. Or you can hold it down and try and run a stitch through it. I'm going to run the stitch through it. It does not have to be perfect. This is not going to be seen. You can even take it if you want and do your little pleat, put it down, put a little glue, do another pleat, put a little glue, and keep going and keep going. What we want to do is we're going to curve. Move this over just a little bit. We're just going to have a little bit of a curve here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch mine, and then I will be back with you guys. Alright, so I made and kind of pleated very, very roughly 3 little sections. I want to make sure that it's nice and fluffy when I put it down. And this is going to be used on a hot glue, so we do not need to mess with these little tails at all. Just get rid of them. We will not be able to see our stitching. All right. Let's start gluing. And be careful, because the hot glue gun is hot and this tool is easy to make into a big fat mess. Okay, I'm going to start over here, just like 1/4 of an inch from my frame, because I want a curve. Let me get my bone folder. I'm going to keep me from gluing myself. Just push it down a little bit. Don't hold it down because you will glue your bone folder. just going to go around and tack it here and there. And it's alright if it doesn't reach all the way to the other end. We'll use one of our other pieces. We'll just keep layering and layering them. Ooh, got me that time. So I'm going to take my next little section, start this other direction, even with my other one. And go through and tack it down here and there. Yow. Yeah. Uh-huh. That was not smart. I want it to go down a little bit here in the center. Wow, that was a lot of glue. Gotta tame down this corner a little bit. Alright, we have one more. You can go as thick as you want yours. I think on my other one, I don't even remember how to be. And then when we put our trim down, it'll smush it down a little bit. My back page keeps moving around. Let's see. His end again. Where did he go? That came completely off. This one I'm going to take and wrap it around the side. Just a little bit. We're going to see how that works. We may end up having to cut that off. We'll try it out. If you love sewing, you're more than welcome to sew this on. Alright, I'm going to get this end, and I actually think I need some more to go. Further through, so I'm not going to sew it. I'm just going to cut some really carefully, try to glue it. So fold it in half. Let's see how this goes. Holding it above and below the hot glue. Alright, so take it and then make another little pleat. Put that down. Alright, let's see here. Got glue sticks everywhere. Just making another pleat. I'm going to wrap this one around like the other side, and if we don't like it, we can always cut it off later if it's not showing once we get our back on. Because our paper is going to have to go across there. I don't think I'm liking it already. Hello, Tutu. Now I'm going to wait until we get our top ribbon because it's going to smush it down, and then I'll probably take the scissors across the bottom and shape it up a little bit. The fabric that I chose to use, I either got it at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. It's got a lot of extra little. I like it. You can use any fabric you want. I like this one because I like how it's pleated already. You can see that. To me, it just gives it more dimension. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 layers of this. I gotta find my front and my back. I don't know which is which. Okay, pleat to the front. So what I'm going to do is, I want it to be real fluffy on the corners. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get glue off of me still. So I'm going to take it and kind of smush down this end here. Hold on, let me look at my last one. I'm trying to remember. Okay. I used a little bit different. This thing's got strings everywhere. It's a little bit longer, but we're going to make this work. Alright, so we're going to wrap them around the edge and tack that down. Yeah, this one is not as wide as my other one. Let me think about this just a moment. Alright, changed my mind. And of course, I found one that's not pleated. I was trying to, this one that I used on this album, it was 1 inch from the pleat to the bottom, and that other one was only like 1/2 of an inch. And I want to have a lot of thickness and ruffles, and I don't think I was able to do it with the shorter. So we are going to take this one and we are going to do our own. So I'm going to make our own pleats. So I'm going to start with just wrapping this barely around, whoopsie doopsie, wrapping this around the corner and gluing it down. And try not to make that glue too bulky, because we are going to have to put paper on this later. Did I make it too tall? No. Okay, now we get to pleat. So I'm just going to try to, I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm just going to pinch some of that fabric together. And glue it down. We'll just see how this goes. Yeah, I'm sorry if my head gets in the way here. I guess I probably would do better just trying to stitch it. Let me see something. I may just go ahead and do that. see, I want these little ruffles. But just in case you don't have a ruffled fabric, I just want to be able to do it together. Now we're putting 2 layers of this, so I'm trying not to get it too high. Put this little guy back. It's okay if it covers this bottom part up. Look, I already went too high with my glue. I should have left them in space. There. So I'm going to bring this one down quite a bit. Then our second layer. Okay. I'm going to pleat this on my sewing machine, and then I'll be back. Now, again, if you don't have this sewing machine, just take it, bunch it together, and then put glue. That does sound a lot easier, doesn't it? Let's do that first. All right. Yay, we're getting it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep pleating and gluing down enough for 2 rows, and then I'll be back with y'all. Alright, so I did some using the glue gun, and I did some on the sewing machine. I think actually the sewing machine was a little bit easier because, you know, I didn't have to accidentally burn myself. Okay. We're going to put this down, and we're going to put it a little bit lower because, again, our row, let's see, maybe we should do the top row, flip it up, and do the bottom row. Yeah, let's do that. So I already have this one glued on the end, so I'm just going to put it to the side. Because I think this one, yeah, I'm just going to do that. Put this one first. So we probably may want to stick this down to make sure that we don't go over it. Alright, I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to do a line on this bottom and try and get that in place. Now I'm centering it side to side. Just hold it down here for a minute. There we go. All right. Let's start hot gluing. I'm just going to go around the very bottom of the frame. It doesn't matter if you touch it or not. I just want to get the fabric over. I said I was going to use this one. Oh well. It doesn't matter. Because we could put some flowers and we're going to cover it all up. I just hope you can see what I'm doing here. There we are. I don't mind the white fabric showing just to the top of here, and then I'm just pushing that tool down so it doesn't get seen. So I'm barely putting glue on the bottom edge of the frame. Oh, my tool's sticking out. Get back in there. Sorry. We're going to cover this bottom up with flowers, so if you don't think yours look perfect, mine doesn't either. Sorry. I hit it. Alright, so we're going to keep going around. I'm going to have a little bit extra on the end, but we'll just cut that out and we'll find a place to use it. I don't like the way this is shoved in behind there, just in case you can see it. I haven't decided which embellishments I want to use yet. Okay, we're going to wrap it around the edge and tack it down. And I'm just going to cut off all, sorry guys, cut off all my excess. How about this left over? Alright. There, we have our first little layer, and I have glue. Strings everywhere. Okay, so we are going to flip this one up, grab our next one, and we want it as low as possible to where it's just covering up our my stitch, or if you use glue. So again, what I'm going to do for my corner, I'm not going to wrap it all the way around, I don't think. No. I'm going to take my corner and I'm going to just glue it to the trim on top of it. There we are. Pull it down just a little. Let me get a little bit more glue on that where it can't be seen. I'm going to glue this end piece down a little bit more. Alright, so now we have our corner wrapped around. So I'm going to start gluing it down, and then also pull this down to where it covers that up, but I still want a lot of this little ribbon things to come through. Yow, that was hot. On the right side. Yikes. Have the right side on here? Yeah. I got the wrong side. Okay. Let's redo that. Try and pull it apart. Alright, let's try and do it on the correct side. I have so much trouble telling. Sometimes. Alright. Let's try this again. I reckon I'm getting tired and it's about time for a break. There we go. Alright, once we get to our edge, we can wrap it around again. Some more glue. Go ahead and cut off my excess. And glue all this around, around the edge. Try to get as, as flat as you can, because we are going to have to put the paper on this. I may have to trim it later, but we'll see how it goes. Alright. Now we have glue strings everywhere, but our tutu is made. I actually think I want some more tulle. I know for sure I want to trim up the bottom. I want to curve up this way a little bit more. And that's what I'm going to add. Yeah, I think I want her to be thicker, so we can have super cute. She's a little flat. Can do that real quick, and I'm just going to take fold it in half. Try not to burn myself and stick some in here. Let's see. But it's a little pleat. Ouch, got me. I think that looks better. So keep going. Alright, my memory card got full. The only thing that you missed was me just continuing and putting in this bottom lace. And then I'm still going to take and kind of pull out my tool and shape it out. I just want it to be even in a circle or half circle there. Okay, let's go ahead, and we didn't put down our square completely, so I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and just go along the outer edge of this side and then the outer edge of this side, and then they can slide in a picture through the top. So I'm just going to turn upside down. You probably won't be able to see it. And I'm just going to go through and add that glue on the outer edge. Well, that didn't work out. Let's see. Try it like this. I guess I should just did this all at one time in the beginning. Got a little extra glue on the edges. I'm going to be sure to wipe off. And again, I have glue all over my fingers. Okay. Where's some? Here. And check this other side. It looks like I did a better job on that side. So we're going to give that time to adhere down. Okay. I'm going to show you my album front. I had a lot going on here. I did go ahead and pull all of my flowers I had in stock that were pinks and yellows and blues. On this one, I want to make this one different. So even though we're going to have the flowers at the bottom, I have this dusty attic with the hearts. It's called Love Heart Corners. The number is DA1442. And I'm thinking, once I get it out, let's set this aside. See if I can get this guy out. Okay, so I finally got it out, and I think I want to try and use this. I know it's going to take up some of the space for the bottom for my flowers, but I think I can go ahead and work around it. But I believe it's really cute, and then you could take, and your photo would be behind it. And it would cover some of it. And if we move it over a little bit like this. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just paint it, and then I'll just figure out from there if I want to use it or not. Okay, well, we wait for that to dry completely. And honestly, I'm not really sure yet if I'm still going to use that. Yes, I do that often. So our frame is going to be just like any other frame, to where it has a little leg that sticks out for it to stand up straight. So what we need to do is we're going to get a piece of coordinating cardstock, whichever color you like, and we are going to cut out to fit on the back of here, and then we're going to get some chipboard and then make our little stand that's going to help this sit up straight. So I'm going to get all of that together and I will be right back. So I've picked out what I want to use. You will need two pieces, one for the back and one for the little kickstand. Mine I got out of DCWV, and it is called, I have no idea. I've had this forever. Well, this is Feuill. Maybe that's a different language for sheets, but I don't know. This is this is what I got. And I have two sheets. So we are going to get our template out and a piece of chipboard. I just grabbed looking for a ruler. I just grabbed a scrap. Mine's 3 1/4 inches, but don't cut it down yet because I haven't quite figured all this out. Let me come in close for you guys. Okay, so from my right hand side I'm going to measure in 1/4 inch and make a mark. And then also for my left inside, I'm going to measure in, is it a quarter? 1/4 inch. Wait a second. Yes, 1/4 inch. And then make a mark. I messed up that side. So in between our two little marks is 1.5 inches. Okay, so just to repeat myself because I didn't even follow my own directions. From the right, go in 1/4 inch, make a mark. From the left, go in 1/4 inch and make a mark. Now we're going to take our ruler and I'm going to put it on this mark and then alright, so I'm going to take my ruler and put it on our 1/4 inch mark, and then I'm going to go down to the far corner. That way we have it. Actually, I'm going to do this on my paper cutter. Well, I'll go ahead and make a mark to try to make this a little bit easier so I could see it. So 1/4, and we want to go down all the way to the corner. On the other side, same thing. 1/4 inch all the way down to this corner. Okay, so I'm going to fit that line on my trimmer. And cross my fingers. And same thing for the other side. can see how we have 1.5 inch at the top and 2 inches at the bottom. 1.5 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Wow. Okay. Jiminy crickets. I went under a little bit. I ended up with cutting off too much by 2/16 of an inch. So we're just going to take this scrap and mark it right there and make them the same size. I have no idea how I did that. Alright, so what we're going to do is put this onto the back of our cardstock, and then this is your part that's going to fold in and out to standing up. Now, just to make this a little bit prettier, I'm just going to take some scissors and I'm just going to curve these edges. Try to anyway. This is totally up to you if you want to try and do it or not. Don't curve the bottom edges because we need these two pieces to meet up. And then I'm going to curve the edges on this bottom too. Not necessary, it's just the look I want to give it. Just a tiny little curve. There we go. Now if we put our cardstock on this, our edges are going to show. So I think we may wrap our cardstock, or you can use your fabric actually if you want to. Let me work on that and see how it comes together. So I've taken my paper that I want to use and I've laid mine down and traced around it. And I'm going to try and just score it with my scoreboard. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit, about a 1/2 inch. Well, about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And don't forget your bottom part's wider, so keep an eye on it on the bottom. We'll trim it more down later. Just got a little bit closer there. Excuse my scoreboard, it's a big fat mess. So I'm going to try, because I know we have an angle, so just try my best. I'm going to start making a line here to make sure I'm on where I need to be. You know what would work better? I'm sorry, I'm making this stuff up a little long. Put your ruler on it. and trace out each line. I'm not sure how this is going to work on the corners. Alright, the thickness of my chipboard I would say is about 1/16 of an inch. I guess you could just by hand just try and fold that over. Where's my other bone folder? Oh, that's so much stuff. How to do the corners. Yeah, me and my curved corners. Woohoo! There we go. So I didn't know if you saw what I did. So we have this that goes down and then this that goes over. Take this little corner and just push them in like that. Then that's going to go down and I think that'll give us a nice, I'll help out a little bit with the bone folder. I guess it depends on how thick your paper is too. Or if you didn't cut your corners. Yay. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this one, this side. Now up here, what we need to do is to make a hinge. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of just some black cardstock, any color would be fine. Okay, I've got stuff everywhere, I'm forgetting where I put it. So we're going to take this cardstock and we want the same width of this, so I'm not going to worry about measuring it. I'm just going to take a pencil, trace it, and cut that out. I definitely do not like measuring. So you want your little hinge to be at least 1 inch wide, and then we're gonna fold that in half. Mine's a little bit bigger, but I'm not gonna worry about it. So we're going to put glue down half here and that on the top half. And then on the other side of your fold or your score, we're put this guy. So now we have our fold. And I should have had the paper not stop here. Let's see. You know, we're going to make this the back piece. So this is going to be attached. Yeah. Okay. When I do the boys, I promise you this will get a lot better. I'm going to cut this piece out because it's too short. I didn't leave it for this top part. So I'm just going to cut right on my traced line. Then we'll make another one. Sorry, I didn't realize, I forgot I was panned in so close. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. Didn't use my correct trimmer blade for paper. So mine got a little ugly, and then while I'm at it, I'm going to give me some corners, curved corners. So take this one and set it aside, because this is going to be our back piece that later on we will glue it down. So I'm going to get my other piece that I thought I wasn't going to have to cut. And I'm going to trace the whole thing. Alright, now I'm going to trace the whole thing, including the top. Alright. I'm just going to trim this out a little bit. Take my there we go. Let me do it this way so y'all can see what I'm doing. So I'm staying about a ½ an inch from my longest line. Just trim it out a little bit. Now we can get our stiff ruler and our, I've buried it all. Here we go. And score on that line. All the way around. Okay. I'm just going to use my ruler to help fold. My paper is really thick. Okay, now we have our arm. I want this scored piece facing me. So your little hinge is going to be on the back. So we're going to cover it like so. So your hinge is back here. Your design paper is facing towards the front. So I'm going to flip it over, and what we're gonna start folding it over this piece here. And mine's going to take quite a bit of glue because it is super thick paper. I'm going to start. I'm going to trim down my bottom piece of paper just a little bit so it didn't bunch up too much. Alright, and I'm going to take this corner and we're going to glue it down first. Like such. Grab my messy bone folder. Then I'm going to do the same for this corner. Hold that down for a minute. And then we're going to put glue through this end. Fold him over. You may have to give him a little help. Man, I got a lot of glue on this thing. Oops. Wasn't paying attention. You come undone. Alright, we got the bottom. Still actually looks like a corner. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to pull it over. And this is going to be getting a little too thick because it gets thinner at the top, so I'm just going to trim it a bit. And this side also. Okay, so for our corners, And then just this top part. Check out the front, make sure we don't have too weird of angles. Hold that down for a bit. And we're going to do our sides. I had to pick the thickest cardstock that I owned. If you're using like white or cardstock and you don't care what the edges look like, you are more than welcome to skip this part. I'm trying to do that little bend. I believe we're going to have to cut it there. Let's try that. Our paper is going across where our score line is, where our two pieces meet. So I'm just going to take it, not going all the way to the end, just trim that just a little bit. I don't think that's going to work. It's going to tear. See what happens if I make a triangle. To tear a little bit, put some glue there, and this stuff dries clear. That's what we need to do. So I just went in that crease and scored all the way to the end, and then I'm just going to take and make a little cutout, a little triangle. And that way we'll get our bend. Without tearing our paper. Put a little bit more glue just to make sure this does not come undone later. And then go ahead and wrap our other sides. I'm going to glue down this piece. Or it also would be easier, which I've done on some albums, you can wrap the edges with fabric. I'm considering this little crease. That'd probably be a good idea. Maybe on the boys album we'll do that crap. So I have this all wrapped, and I am not liking that this fold, the edges are tearing on the paper. So I have a bag of scrap fabric, and I found this piece, which actually is the exact same one that I had. I was going to use on this one for the little pants. Apparently I've used it before. So we are going to just wrap this front part in fabric, and then we'll use the paper again for the back of it. So I'm going to just roughly give myself about 1/2 of an inch on all sides, and then cut that out. Man, if y'all can hear that, it is some kind of bad weather here in Louisiana. My dogs are sitting behind me, scared to death. All right. So I'm gonna plug in my hot glue gun and make this easy on myself. So while I'm waiting for the hot glue gun, I'm going to go ahead and get another piece of this for the back part. As soon as I figure out where I put everything. Let me get all that together. Alright, so I traced out and cut out another piece for the back. Dang, man. That weather is crazy. I've got my glue, and I'm going to go ahead and glue all the way from the top to the bottom. I think I still could have cut it smaller. Just trying to decide how I want to do the corners. Alright, so I went ahead and put down my chipboard piece, and I do not have it glued behind here, of course, so they could still slide a picture underneath there. I did add another little layer of lace here, on this end and then just on this end, so when you look at it, it has 3 and 3 rows. And I only did that because I had all this empty space underneath this open heart that I needed to fill. I tried flowers, it just didn't quite look right, so I went ahead and glued that down while I was playing with it, and so I wouldn't move it. Now they did have this little scroll piece. It felt like it was kind of getting in my way, so I did cut it out. And I'm thinking about maybe using it over here, but probably not. So I grabbed all my flowers, everything that I had. It's a little mix of Recollections, some Prima, some little bit of everything, just going with the color scheme for pinks and whites, and then I have a little bit of yellow. So I'm just going to start working with that and try and get everything down. Not quite if I remember where I had everything, but I'm just going to work on that real quick. Hot glue strings from everything. Let's get her a little fluffed up again. Now what we have left to do is I'm going to let this dry, my frame that's glued in, and then we'll work on the back and work on putting our frame on.